So it's hoped these briefings set up the groundwork for a productive relationship between the government bureaucracy and the incoming president.
Dr. Byoung-joo, head of KL&P Consulting and a longtime Arirang TV commentator, joins us in the studio to tell us how the first set of reports shed light on which policy changes we can expect to come. Welcome.
Thank you.
Right, so this process of the transition team interfacing with the government offices and ministries, it seems to be a dress rehearsal for the incoming government. Did it get off to a good start?
We would not know, actually, because we don't have the details about what was actually discussed during the session. But from the observation from outside, at least the order of the reporting itself, SME administration, first of all, reporting to the transition team, it was unprecedented. It didn't happen before. Usually it would be national, the Ministry of Defense or Ministry of Knowledge Economy, Industry Ministry or Finance Ministry that will take the first lead. But this time SME administration came in and it showed clear the policy priority for the incoming administration. So we got to see the overall emphasis or actions to emphasize or highlight the priorities, what this new incoming administration cares about most. So that much I think we got to learn.
Right, in terms of small and medium-sized businesses, what were some of the conflicts that experts really expect to see facing the incoming administration, and was anything revealed from the meeting today?
What we learned is that perhaps we just got a sense that the SME administration itself is perhaps trying to change its status because currently under the current condition what's happening is the administration itself is not exactly a ministerial organization. So what they cannot do is they cannot draw a new law or regulations like any other ministries. So they're quite limited. So overcoming such difficulties and limitations, it's quite obvious that the SME administration must have tried to change or persuade the transition team that they need different kind of status, which is making themselves into a ministerial organizations.
I see. The Defense Ministry was to give the report, and security obviously was high on the agenda, but also the welfare of soldiers in terms of their pay and mandatory service. Could you elaborate more on that?
About welfare of the soldiers, their pay itself will be doubled by year 2017. That's one policy agenda that may not be running into too much controversy. It looks like that's going to be done. Another key point is shortening of the overall duration of the mandatory military service. President-elect Park Geun-hye has promised that she will shorten the overall duration from the current 21 months to 18 months. But now it's being discussed, perhaps that initiative may not be implemented because they have conservative members in the transition team as well as the ruling party who are saying, well, look, if we introduce such an initiative, we may actually run into the shortage of manpower as many as 27,000 people by the year, within several years when it's being implemented. So they say that's going to be a serious situation, and we're hearing reports possibly President-elect Park Geun-hye, perhaps with the right argument, with enough evidence, may actually change mind on that one.
And of course, welfare has been one of the highest campaign priorities. What did we learn today about welfare pledges turning into real policies?
Welfare policy, the main concern, the top concern for the Conservative Party and the incoming administration would be how to finance it. They have already made enough promises about offering these pension payments to the senior citizens and also covering cost of raising children up until the age of 5. Now, all the details are out there in terms of what they're going to do. The key question is how they're going to finance it. So it must be the way the welfare ministry is thinking about financing these expanded welfare programs. That must be the details that the ministry must have been talking about during this session. We can only guess.
The transition team decided not to release specific details of the status reports, and some critics say they're getting only half of the story. Your thoughts?
Perhaps it's the right thing to do because from the past experience, we have seen these incoming administration organizing transition teams that acts like a kind of like occupation force. They just storm in and they try to show all this swaggering, gestures to change everything and so on. They were not received very well by the people here, and so that's why incoming Park Geun-hye administration is trying to minimize the whole overall period or process into a smallest possible and the quietest possible way right now. So they're saying even what's being discussed in the sessions, these reporting sessions, are not even the official position of the transition team itself. And they say everything that has to be official will be made official when and after the cabinet is set up. So looks like this is a very different style, and at the same time, it could be received pretty well by the public who has had this kind of traumatic, with some exaggeration, experience with the previous transition teams.
Well, lots to look forward to. Thank you very much, Dr. Kim, for joining us today.
Thank you.